Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. Hope you're all having a great day. Today, we have racing in the NASCAR Legend Series, Xfinity Series, as well as the first race of the playoffs for the Cup Series at Dover. But first, we have some breaking news, and it's unfortunate news. Gordon Hendrick Motorsports driver, myself, Gary Owen, confirmed today that his Cup Series program will shut down at the end of the season. You hear that correctly. GOWEN Racing on the Cup Series side is shutting down officially. The team's charter will be sold to Trackhouse as they will plan to expand to a second car. It is unclear if Daniel Suarez will return to Trackhouse like he did before, and then, quote, the Cup program just hasn't worked out and I want to put full focus into my truck and Xfinity program, said myself. So the news is out. We will no longer have a Cup Series team. It has been no secret that we have had a really, really rough season. Last season wasn't great. This season it's gone even worse, and I felt like it's just time to shut it down and focus on the Xfinity Series as well as the Truck Series. So we jump through into the actual racing side of things now. It's going to be disappointing to not see that GOWEN Racing car on the track next season. It's going to be interesting to see if Daniel Suarez goes somewhere else or goes back to Trackhouse where he used to be at earlier in the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode when we came into the Cup Series. So that's something that you guys are going to find out. There's not going to be a whole lot of silly season changes over this off season because, I mean, we're only got one final season left. I don't want to go too crazy, so you'll have to wait and see what happens there. But we came through into the first race of the NASCAR Legend Series playoffs here, and unfortunately, we missed the playoffs because of a glitch where the game decided to sim the final race of the regular season, and it didn't even count us in the race. It was really weird, and unfortunately, we missed the playoffs because of that reason now, and I'm pretty sure that's actually why we missed it last season as well. I just never caught on to that at that point. So, unfortunate how that works. We're not in the playoffs, and we could have made it if we would have won a race, and that's what we were trying to do today here at Drebin, and we were moving our way forwards. We won this race actually last season. This is the only race that we were able to actually get to victory lane at, so the high hopes were definitely there, but unfortunately it just wasn't living up to last season for myself so far, because now in the late stages of this race we were up into the top 5 trying to pass the 4-time Cup Series champion, or Jeff Gordon there, moving up into that 4th position, but that was as far as we got as we came through to the final lap. Jonathan Cadell wins the race for the 3rd time this season, puts himself into the next round of the playoffs. We cross the line for a still pretty solid 4th place finish here from Drebin. Definitely can't complain about a 4th place finish, but definitely at the same time was hoping for better and hoping to go for a race victory there, as you see the rest of the finishing order on your screen. David Schildhouse in the playoffs finished in dead last. Very unfortunate for him as we come through into the Xfinity Series. Paul Menard behind the wheel here from Darlington Raceway. There's been some rumors that Menard might hang it up officially after this season in the career mode, so stay tuned for some news as well on that here in the coming episodes now, as he's still come up short of an Xfinity season or series championship in every season he's driven for our car, but hopefully this season he can change that, because he has been on it. 5 wins on the season and could turn that into 6 today if he can win. In Darlington, there's some contact with Ryan Sieg through turns 3 and 4. They were scrapping it out for that front position here. Another turn 4 didn't quite happen right there, so Paul had to try again a little bit later now down the back straightaway, closing in on the final few laps of this race. He had a huge run out of turn 2, but that would allow him to go to the inside of Sieg and clear him into turn 3, and he would never look back. Now to the final lap through turns 3 and out of turns 4 for the 6th time this season, a record for Paul Menard in GOWEN Racing in a season in the Xfinity Series. Menard goes to victory lane just barely over the 18 of Riley Herbst, who actually got up to 2nd and even put some pressure on the back of our number 77 GOWEN Racing Chevrolet Camaro there, with Menard behind the wheel. As you look through at the rest of the order, only a few races remain in the regular season for the Xfinity Series now, but of course the main focus in today's episode and for the rest of the season is the Cup Series playoffs, and they get underway here today from Dover International Speedway here. Now, as we have the normal Razor Flames back on the car for the start of the playoffs here, as we came through to start our qualifying lap with a goal of a 23.286. Hopes were definitely high coming into this one now, as we come into this first round of the playoffs comfortably above the cutoff line, so there's not too much to be concerned about, and we start the playoffs off with a strong 6th place qualifying effort, so already looking pretty good going into this race there. As you see up front, we got Eric Jones on pole, still surprisingly winless this season. Eckes up there as well. Chase Elliott surprisingly down there in the 14th position. Not used to seeing him that far down the order. That's how good of a season he has had. And at the bottom of the grid, you got that number 40 car of Timmy Hill here as we get ready to go green in Dover. All right, boys, started the playoffs once again. I mean, we've known how in the past to get these championships won. We've gotten one before, so it's just 10 races. We got to be consistent. We got to try and win as much as we can. Let's go have some fun. There you hear myself on the radio now as we take a look at the playoff grid coming into today's episode. By the way, though, Ryan Blaney, playoff driver, and our teammate failed technical inspection. He is starting at the back of the field. He comes into this round 6 points above the cut line. Chase Elliott, myself, Christian Eckes, Bubba Wallace, Kyle Larson, all 20 points and above coming into this race. Eric Jones on pole, 5 points above the cut line, and then got Brandon Jones, Joey Logano, Christopher Bell, and Haley Deegan all below the cut line. Now, as the first race of the playoffs is underway here from Dover International Speedway now, as you got Jones, Eckes on your front row. Just behind us, you got Todd Gilliland, Bubba Wallace. If Todd Gilliland would have had the pace since, or before the regulation changes that he's had since the regulation changes, he easily would have made the playoffs and been a strong contender. But definitely, we look at next season and that final season of the career mode, Todd Gilliland and that front row racing team with that Mercedes-powered engine, I think is going to be a serious threat now as we come through. Out of turn 4, completing this first and opening lap of the playoffs, down into 8th place up the inside of Harrison Burton, who's the only Joe Gibbs Racing driver in the playoffs. Kyle Busch got eliminated from the playoffs. He never even has a chance to go for a championship this season. The defending champion, by the way, of the Cup Series. We pushed Alex Bowman to victory lane in the last episode in Daytona, put him in the playoffs, and now he is going to compete for a championship as we're up the inside of Sam Mayer, who comes into this round of the playoffs just 7 points above the cut line. And that's crazy to think about, that both Sam Mayer and Eric Jones are both less than 10 points above the cut line, because they have been unbelievably strong this season, but because they failed to win races, they are barely above that cut line now. As Joey Logano had run myself down here as we came through to lap 4, I didn't want to put up too much of a fight against him, so I let him go. Elliot comes through as well to make a pass there in that McLaren. Clearly, he is strong. He started in 14th and was already up towards the top 5 here on just the 5th lap of the race. Logano, he is in the playoffs but below the cut line, so I wasn't trying to mess with him too much because I knew he wasn't going to be waiting around. So we got past at 23 again of Bubba Wallace, now at the inside of the 99 Trackhouse driver of Ross Chastain. Can confirm he will return to that team in that 99 car next season in the career mode. Now as we look up the inside of Brandon Jones now in lap 8, and we just continued moving our way forwards. And it took a few laps for this car to really get going here, but obviously now that it's gotten going, we are very quick up into the top 5 here by about the halfway point of stage 1, but it wasn't until lap 14 of stage 1 until we really got close to anybody here, as we got the Red Bull of Christian Eckes battling side by side with the Penske champion of Joey Logano. Now as up front it is still Eric Jones, but now Chase Elliott has climbed up all the way into 2nd place. A really good drive from Elliott here in the first 14 laps. Now definitely didn't expect him to go from 14th to 2nd in about 14 laps here as we came through the 2 laps ago on the stage. A bit of a mistake from myself in turns 1. Lap traffic already becoming a bit of a factor up at the front of the field, and that would actually close up the gap a lot between Eric Jones and Chase Elliott, because Elliott would take the lead by the time we came through to the final lap here of stage 1. I'm still running in 5th place behind Christian Eckes, but I see that 78 is CJ McLaughlin. He's going to hold up the 83, and I'm going to use him as a pick, and I'm going to look up the inside right here and pass Eckes into turns 3 and 4, and it's Chase Elliott who goes from 14th to 1st here on the first 19 or 18 laps of this race and wins stage 1. We hold on there to 4th place on the exit of the corner and get a very strong stage 1 result ourselves, as well as Eckes rounds out the top 5. Brandon Jones in the AlphaTauri there in that 6th position. Brandon Jones comes into the playoffs 5 points below the cut line. He's actually the last driver in the playoffs, so they got some work to do with AlphaTauri, but at the same time, only 5 points below. And if they just stay out of trouble, they can easily make it into the next round, because I'm confident we're going to see today and the next 2 episodes quite a few playoff drivers that have some type of mechanical issue, a tire failure, something go wrong, and especially when we go to the Charlotte Roval, that's going to be a whole different ball game now, as we have gained 2 spots on the pit lane, setting us up very nicely here for the start of this 2nd stage alongside Chase Elliott here. And for the first time in the playoffs here from Dover, it is time to get amped. There you have the amp segment here from the start of the second stage, and over on the back of the 9, a little bit too close to the back of him, though, and then I slide up the track and slide on the exit of turn 2, and that allows the 7 of Eric Jones to go by there in the McLaren, and then he wasted no time here. A lot of time still left in stage 2, by the way, 30 laps to go by the time we came through to lap 8. Last stage, it was about 10 laps ago when we came to lap 8, so Eric Jones, though, blows by me a few moments ago, then he blows by the 9 of Chase Elliott. So showing the speed, you saw the fire symbol beside Jones's name when he went by us, so we know he's got speed, and he was showcasing that because he was driving away very quickly here in this second stage as we were getting closer and closer to the midway point now, as it was looking like there's some potential green flag pit stops coming here in stage 2 if it stays green, and Jones just continues to drive away. We come through to lap 16, and now we were dealing with some lap traffic up the inside of the 78 of CJ McLaughlin. Unlikely to see that car back next season, probably here in the career mode, so stay tuned on what's going to happen with the future of that 78 car. Now is myself and Elliot going to scrap it out here after back onto the throttle, though, because we're stuck behind the 40 of Timmy Hill down into turn 3, and now Elliot's going to take a 3 wide. They're a little aggressive, and then the caution actually comes out here, and that's going to force everybody into the pit lane, so that eliminates a stage 2 green flag pit stop for the competition. And I decide, of course, to make a few adjustments, because when I was watching that number 7 car of Eric Jones drive away, and I was realizing I didn't have a whole lot for Chase Elliott, I realized that we definitely need to try and adjust the car a little bit here and see if we can put the fight to these guys at least late in stage 2, setting us up well for stage 3. So, you saw myself make a few tire pressure adjustments. Mainly, I felt like that's kind of the direction we needed to go with that. I didn't want to mess with the wedge because the balance felt pretty solid. And we gained one spot on the pit lane again. But you're noticing on the pit lane, the caution was for Alex Bowman in the 48. He is out of this race. Our Gordon Hendrick Motorsports teammate is done for the day. The first playoff implications on the day here from Dover. Now, as you have Joey Logano right on my back bumper, he's not wasting any time. He's going to push us out of the preferred groove that we were in, but we actually somehow managed to stay in front of that 22 car. So we got a bit of a lucky break right there, because that could have easily went wrong. He could have put me in the wall, and we could have been into a big incident instead. But fortunately, we at least hold our own right there. But now we're under attack from the 83 of Christian Eck, as we lost a spot to Todd Gilliland and Sam Mayer as well. Jones and Elliott checking right out now as the 22 is right on my back bumper again. He shoves us all the way up to the outside wall, and then he has to back out of it. I'm not sure what he was thinking right there, because it really didn't help him, and now we would have to try and fight back. So we got again to the inside of Christian Eckes here. I wasn't giving up here. I know we got good speed in this car, and I wasn't going to let Joey Logano ruin our chances today at a potential at least top 3 and maybe somehow steal a victory in the process. Now as Jones, Elliott still trying to drive away now, as we're going to be 3 wide just about here on the exit of turns 2, and now that's actually going to allow the 96 of Brandon Jones to get to my inside. I try to pinch him down into turn 3. He's having none of it. Hits me in the quarter panel. I go all the way up to the outside wall, and this chaos here in stage 2 continues now as we drop down into the 10th position. So that was all my fault right there. I pushed up out of turn 2, made some contact with the 38, left the door wide open for the 96, and then I tried to pinch him down and hope he was going to back out before myself, and unfortunately none of us backed out, and you saw the repercussions for that. We both came together, and up the track we went. So trying to rally our way back forwards now, just calm down, get focused back in, and get the best finish possible here in stage 2 to increase our gap above the cut line. Red Bull driver Vec is still just behind us. We get past the 38 of Todd Gilliland. Now up the inside of the 66 of Sam Mayer with 7 laps to go here in the stage. Now as we're in for a little bit of a scrap. He's trying to pinch myself down like I did to the 96 of Brandon Jones down the back straightaway a few laps prior. But we are able to get past the 66. We ran down Brandon Jones, and I would look up the inside of him with 4 laps to go here. And that was a very easy pass actually. So we're back into the top 5 here in the closing laps of stage 2. Can we run down Joey Logano? Well, we came through to the final lap here of stage 2, and we got close, but not quite close enough here now. As he runs 4th place, Bubba Wallace 3rd, Elliott still 2nd, Eric Jones, who dominates stage 2. He dominated stage 1, lost the stage right at the end. He's not going to lose the stage at the end this time to Chase Elliott. He's going to come through to win stage 2 as we come through turns 3 out of turns 4. Close to Logano, not close enough, but we still cross the line for a top 5 here in the second stage. Kyle Larson, by the way, on the pit lane, I just noticed with smoke pouring out of the front end of his car, an engine issue, and now that's the second Gordon Hendrick Motorsports car today that's in the playoffs to have some type of issue. So now it's just myself and Ryan Blaney that haven't had issues for this Gordon Hendrick team, but for Kyle Larson, it's not the end of the world. His engine might have just exploded, but the team threw a new one in under the caution and got him back in the race, so it's not the end of the day for Kyle Larson now, but it's definitely going to be a big hit nonetheless, and all those wins in the regular season are going to pay off in a moment like this as the green flag is back out. We are underway here for the third and final stage. Bubba Wallace had a good pit stop. He is up into second place. Elliot down into that third spot as we go down into turns one. We got Todd Gilliland just behind myself here, trying to be a little bit defensive. Logano trying to come down already onto myself, and you saw that because he just about drove into the side of the 9 car of Elliot and that Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet, who's going to move up into second place, already overtaking that DoorDash Toyota Camry for 2311 Racing. They're driven by Bubba Wallace. Out of turns 4 side by side with the 22 of Joey Logano here as we complete that first and opening lap here now as we go down into turns 1. He's going to pinch us down here. He's trying to put us onto the apron, and I make a mistake by staying in it, and out of turns 2 nearly into the outside. Well, thank goodness we didn't actually hit anything, but now we're going to lose a bunch of ground once again, and then I make things worse for myself right there going back up the track, and that left the door open for the 83s. We have a bit of a power slide on the exit of turns 4 and drop down into 8th place. So Joey Logano just very annoying to deal with here in Dover. He hasn't wrecked us and we haven't wrecked him, so that's the one positive from it at least. But thank goodness we got a bit of a break from him here. I could kind of calm down once again with 34 laps to go and focus on trying to move back forwards here till the point we get to him, of course. But now we got past that 96 AlphaTauri of Brandon Jones. We got again to the inside of Todd Gilliland. I felt like we passed these guys too many times today, but we just continue to work our way forwards. We passed Gilliland. We got to the inside again of Christian Eckes on lap 72, and then we would be able to pass him on the exit of turns 4. We get to the back of Logano, and thank goodness for me, with 25 laps to go, he decides he's going to jump up to the top here, so it makes it a little bit easier at least for myself here as we go down this back straight with smoke coming out of the 23 of Bubba Wallace. He's going to go crashing into turn 3, and Logano's getting involved as well. A big incident right there for the 23 as more playoff implications. That's 4 drivers now as Logano and Bubba have an incident right there. 4 playoff drivers with issues today as the caution is out with 25 laps to go. That once again eliminates a green flag pit stop here in stage 3. Makes it a bit easier for myself, but I ended up giving up 10 spots on the pit lane because everybody took 2 tires and I took 4. So a bit of a situation of now we gotta just drive as hard as possible if we want to get back up towards the front here. But Bubba Wallace, by the way, surprisingly, after taking a huge hit to that outside wall after blowing the tire, is not out of the race. So similar to Kyle Larson, where he gets a really lucky break, he will remain in the race and continue the fight. Joey Logano as well, obviously still in the race, but he is actually behind us. I think it's just due to the repairs that they were making to that car. So now I'm just giving it absolutely everything that I have in this car, trying to make something happen. And as we went down into now lap 82, we were back into the top 10 after passing Todd Gilliland, passing the number 42 of Tyler Reddick, making it 3 wide there after some contact with the back bumper of the 96, but nonetheless moving our way throughout the field very quickly. Do we have enough for the 7 of Eric Jones? So that's the real question. We know these tires are going to wear as these laps go on. We got past Kyle Busch. Look up the inside of the 66 of Sam Mayer as we go down into turn 3, right behind that 99 of Ross Chastain. We got past the number 66 of Mayer eventually, and then with 16 to go into turns 1, we clear the 99 of the Trackhouse driver of Ross Chastain. So now in lap 87, continuing on this little just stretch of just going from towards the mid-teens to the front of the field. We got up into 3rd place now on the inside of the Napa Auto Parts driver of Chase Elliott here on lap 89. We're going to be in a bit of a scrap with him. He might race us a little bit harder than what everybody else has because he's trying to defend for his teammate of Eric Jones, who's looking for his first win on the season still, surprisingly here. But out of turns 4, we have a chance right there to clear the 9. I decided, you know what, I'm going to be nice. I'm going to make sure I give you the room that you need here, so he stays alongside, but right there into turns 1, we clear him now as we came through to lap 98, just 8 laps ago. Now he's actually behind us though. Into the wall goes the number 4 of Haley Deegan, another playoff driver, the Indianapolis winner. Has a big hit there to the outside wall after blowing a tire, and that brings out the caution, and that is going to set up for a late race restart and bring us right to the front row alongside the number 7 McLaren driver of Eric Jones. But do we have enough in this car? That's the question, because I know that Eric Jones has been the fastest car all day long, and I don't know how we're going to contest with that even with the advantage on the tires, but you can see the right sides were already down to 57%, so we've done a really good job at wearing those tires out because we've been driving so hard. So I think that tire advantage is pretty much gone as a green flag is back out. 5 laps remain here from Dover, so it's definitely going to be a tough one because we need to try and get down to the inside as quick as possible. That's our only chance to beat this 7 of Eric Jones is by being on that inside line. But here comes Chase Elliott. He is going to blow right on by here on the exit of turn 2, but we will get clear of the 96 of Brandon Jones, still side by side with Elliott though down into turn 3. I should have maybe thought about getting in behind him there. And now through turns 3, here we are going to get down to that inside as we exit turns 4, and now a move up the inside of that Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet Camaro with 4 laps to go as we're going to be in a scrap again with Chase Elliott like we were 10 laps ago or so here. So he's not going to back down whatsoever. He wants his teammate of Eric Jones to get away and win this race and lock himself into the next round of the playoffs and get that first win on the season for his McLaren number 7 car here as we're still side by side with that 9 of Chase Elliott. Now as we exit turns 4, is it enough? No, it is not. Elliott remains side by side with 3 laps to go, and now the 7 escapes from us there as we would finally get clear. But it wasn't enough as we come through out of turns 4 to start the final lap here from Dover International Speedway, and it is going to be Eric Jones leading the way through turns 1 and turns 2. McLaren and Eric Jones have been together since the start of that team in the Cup Series, and it finally looks like it's paying off there between those two as Jones leads the way through 3 and out of turns 4 for the final time. Bubba Wallace has rebounded, by the way, to 4th place as Eric Jones wins for the first time this season at the right time. The first race of the playoffs has that team gotten hot at the perfect time of the season. It certainly looks like it as of now here as we look through the rest of the finishing order. Another runner-up finish for us now as we have had a really good stretch of races lately here in our career mode. So that's something definitely that keeps us on that positive upward kind of moving trend of trying to make it to that Final Four, and I don't see any reason we missed the Final Four this season, and we're already a full race above the cut line. Christopher Bell 4 points below the cut line. Lewis Hamilton 7 points below. Bowman and Deegan both 18 and 19 below after they had troubles throughout this race. Larson, who had the engine issues, still 20 points above after that. And Bubba Wallace, of course, still finished the race in 4th after blowing the tire and having a huge crash with Joey Logano as we look at the playoff grid here for the Xfinity Series. There is Paul Menard, 6 wins on the season now with 1 race left in the regular season, and that is at Richmond. In the next episode, we do have some Truck Series racing. More playoff racing too for the Truck Series, so excited to see how that turns out. And as always, if you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. I'd like to thank you all for taking your time out of your day to watch this episode and any other one on the channel for that matter. Now, as in the next one, we have Martinsville at nighttime. Very excited for the paperclip. Hopefully we'll have a chance to win there with our first race of the season there and our second to last time at Martinsville Speedway in the career mode. Before we end it though, just want to say thank you to the GOWEN Racing members of MJ, Joseph 9001, Timothy Arline, Bubba Jr., Brett Durward, Dark Gengar Gaming, AJ Vasseur, Russell Dixon, Kenneth Barnett, Dana9302, Speed Demon 341, as well as Illinois Diecast. I appreciate you guys' support so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.